So last year, one of the biggest stories here on YouTube was the controversy surrounding Logan Paul and his crypto NFT project that he dubbed as CryptoZoo. Back in 2021, NFTs and crypto coins were the latest fad investments, and everyone wanted to get in on the action, spending their stimmy packages on something that resembles 5 minutes in Microsoft Paint. You had idiots buying PDFs of digital monkeys for the price of a very nice mobile home.
My man just got an ape. My man just got a bored ape. Can you believe it?
I just couldn't sit on the. I couldn't sit on the
for like $700K. You just got a bored ape.
Back then, you had everyone from celebrities to digital snake oil salesmen trying to convince you that this was the next big thing in exclusive assets.
Every person, if you listen to this fucking remarkable pop culture, current state of society show, and you've not yet bought an NFT, you're doing a big disservice to yourself. In the end, most of these quote-unquote investors would either end up with egg on their face, losing all their money, and in some cases just straight up go blind due to their allegiance to the NFT. Yes, I'm serious. And obviously with Logan being a tunnel vision, ego-driven maniac, he wanted to break the matrix and blend cryptocurrencies with NFTs. And so that's how we got CryptoZoo, which was advertised as a game where players could buy, sell, trade, and even hatch their investments.
We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists, a development team that has to be wizards because you're dealing with blockchain, people's money, transactions.
Because who doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars on a poorly photoshopped image of a chicken mixed with a pug? How about a penguin mixed with a shark? Okay, how about a panda mixed with a cat?
To combine over 500 fucking animals, you know how much time that takes?
Yeah, the idea was half-baked garbage. Like, I don't want to see this hung up in your digital room or whatever their plan was. Either way, with Logan being one of the most successful influencers ever, and him having an audience of millions, it's not hard to see how quite a few people got suckered in.
I think that's the most important thing we're doing. Kids are going to care about the blockchain because of my project. Imagine your first experience on the blockchain is with CryptoZoo.
They allegedly raised millions of dollars by selling these NFTs and crypto coins, but in the end the game was largely unplayable, and many investors were left not only disappointed, but also in the dark with no updates.
So I acquired a bunch of eggs, and I actually want to play the game. I didn't acquire the eggs with the intent of keeping them. I actually wanted to hatch them and see what I got out of them and play in this ecosystem that's been advertised or whatever, right? And then I can't do anything. It's not showing up on the website when I connect my wallet, etc., etc.
To be clear, it appears that Logan never took money out of the project, and likely lost a lot of money on the venture in both creating and fixing it. But still, it's a horrendous look when he was the face of the project who put the entire team together, and then he just went radio silent while some of the individuals on the back end took their share of the bounty. To add even more insult to injury, Logan would launch a newer, shinier NFT project called 99 Originals, which I really feel only added more fuel to the CryptoZoo investors' growing anger.
Actual art. I can't stop thinking. It's the only thing I care about. Each picture is an NFT. It all ties to my entire life.
This is where Coffeezilla comes in with his exposé series.
Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's CryptoZoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked.
Where he claims that he got to the bottom of this scam, and more or less forced Logan's hand in making him apologize and attempt to make right on his previous promises. At least after posting a horrible response video where he tried to tear down Coffee's character entirely.
So in this video today, I'm going to be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. Coffeezilla, I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also you're slimy as f. We're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
And a couple of days later, after receiving massive backlash, he would take this all back in fear of further damaging his reputation, as the court of public opinion had already ruled him to be in the wrong.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal. I called him, I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire. The fact is that suing Coffeezilla is not gonna help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my attention where it should be. Thank you, Coffeezilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation, and I mean that. Thank you, bro.
But over a year and a half later, Logan is now taking that message back as he is now suing Coffeezilla and his production company for defamation. Plaintiff Logan Paul, a globally recognized entertainer, athlete, and entrepreneur, brings this defamation action against defendant Steven Feinderson, aka Coffeezilla, a self-described investigative journalist and quote-unquote internet detective with no actual journalism training or private investigator's license, to hold him accountable for maliciously and repeatedly publishing false statements accusing Paul of operating a scam in connection with the troubled blockchain project called CryptoZoo. So once again, Logan is looking to not only discredit this man, but also run his pockets. Starting when he released a 3-part YouTube series on CryptoZoo in December 2022, and continuing into the present, Coffee has perpetuated a false narrative that Paul scammed and defrauded his own fans in connection with the project. Coffee has perpetuated this false narrative despite knowing it to be completely and utterly false in order to enhance his own profile and increase his viewership and income in the process. And indeed, he has done so despite being in possession of, and purposely omitting from his series and related statements, overwhelming objective evidence that Paul had, in reality, been enthusiastic about the project and deeply committed to its success, only to be deceived by several of the project's trusted advisors who turned out to be con men. To me, that all means that he's essentially now blaming Coffee for basically exposing the secret that this project seemed like a dead duck. And according to his video, people who were actually invested also agreed.
All he had to do was go on and tell us, look, there's something going on with this project, I'm abandoning it, or whatever, before people got more and more trapped. When it came to actually doing anything, he just hid away from it.
Basically, the lawsuit goes on to paint Logan as the victim of the people he chose to man this project, even kind of admitting that Logan knew little to nothing about the intricacies of the blockchain and what it takes to make a venture like this successful. Regrettably, despite rightfully exposing the wrongdoings of Ibanez and Greenbaum in his YouTube series, defendant Coffee understood that accusing a celebrity like Paul of perpetuating a scam would generate exponentially more clicks, views, and ultimately revenue, and would increase his own profile. Coffee therefore titled his series investigating Logan Paul's biggest scam, and he proceeded to confidently tell his viewers not only that the project was a scam, but that it was a scam conceived of and perpetuated by Paul. The 3-part series was viewed tens of millions of times, each of the videos remain among Coffee's most popular of all time, and the viewers and the public at large were captivated by the narrative of an unserious social media influencer who has supposedly used his fame to dupe his fans into vesting money into a fake crypto project, while always intending to abscond with the money. It's just hard for me to feel absolutely any sympathy for this man Logan at all. I think he dug a hole and got mad when people saw what he was trying to stash in there. Like it's Coffee's fault that he apparently made some key mistakes in his own operation. The suit then goes on to explain Logan's buyback program, where he says he gave back over $1 million to investors. That was apparently completed in March of this year. Paul naively believed that his commitment to the buyback program would help him find common ground with Coffee in that regard. But Paul misjudged Coffee's motives. Even after Paul announced the buyback, Coffee simply could not help himself from dipping back into the well that had proven so effective in earning him viewers, attention, and revenue, both from his YouTube earnings, as well as an associated Patreon account that he used to solicit donations from subscribers. In the summer of 2023 and continuing into 2024, Coffee began publishing additional YouTube videos, which he also teased and hyped on Twitter, in which he again repeatedly claimed to the public the false allegation that CryptoZoo was a scam and a fraud conceived and perpetuated by Paul. So basically, Logan is now suing Steven because he called him out for abandoning a project that he promoted relentlessly. To be honest, I don't really understand his motivation here, as to me the situation had really died down by now, and he had went on with essentially this $1 million slap on the wrist, while still maintaining his status as one of the most popular entertainers, WWE stars, and he's still the face of the $1 billion drink Prime. I feel like absolutely no one was bringing this up anymore ever since the year began. Like, even with Coffee dropping more videos on the situation, people had long decided how they felt about this. Yes, he took quite the paddling from the internet at Coffee's hands, but in my opinion, he totally deserved it and got off pretty easy here. So to bring this issue back to light, especially over a rather minuscule amount of money to him, is just beyond petty as he continues to make himself look like a douche. To me, he should either just move on or respond directly if you feel like you're that much in the right to these new videos if he really wants to damage Steven's reputation. The court filing goes through each video step by step, and the largest evidence to support their defamation claim seems to be the title Coffeezilla used in his 3-part series. But they even admit right here that Coffee presented the conclusion that these other bad people on Logan's team were more to blame for his project's failure than Logan himself. Those messages make abundantly clear that Paul had nothing whatsoever to do with Greenbaum's illicit dealing and manipulation of the Zoo token, and to the contrary was outraged by it. Only then did Coffee reveal the full context of the text message he teased at the end of part 1, in which an unidentified individual accuses Paul of stealing $40 million in tokens and calling him a scam artist.
Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own community. You aren't that guy. Logan replies, "Oh, trust me, bro. I am that guy."
The unidentified individual is revealed to be Greenbaum, who was the big scammer in the situation if you guys aren't following along. And the context of the exchange is Greenbaum's complaint about Paul's efforts to stop him from manipulating the market for tokens and enriching himself at the expense of other buyers. To me, it's almost like suing someone for the way they chose to pace their documentary, because they didn't jump right out and say, hey, he's the bad guy, not the guy you necessarily thought was behind it all. In other words, the full context of the exchange, which Coffee misleadingly presented to viewers as evidence of Paul's involvement in a scam, actually reveals the exact opposite to be true. Paul acknowledged that his investigation showed that unlike Greenbaum, neither Palm nor his manager, Jeff Levin, ever sold any of the Zoo tokens they acquired on Zoo Day, which even Coffee admitted was a huge surprise. Coffee acknowledged that this was perhaps the most important thing in terms of assigning guilt to those involved with CryptoZoo. So they kind of admit right there that Coffee pretty much said plain out that Logan was not the scammer, he wasn't guilty. Coffee also concluded that at the end of the day, the number one problem and the true boring reason for CryptoZoo's ultimate demise was Abania's failure to pay the game developers on time, despite Abania's also netting millions of dollars from illicitly selling of Zoo tokens. Coffee then asserted that Paul is nevertheless not innocent in all of this because he was the face of CryptoZoo and ultimately failed to deliver a viable game. The suit then goes on to say that Logan was upset because he thought they had buried the hatchet after they had made a phone call, but once Coffee continued to call him out for the slow pace of his buyback promise, Logan grew angry once again. They even cite Twitter and YouTube comments here, which is just hilarious to me. I mean, it says here plain as day that Logan is suing Steven over tweets, which is about the softest thing I've ever heard come from a public figure in my life. He of course is also suing him over the video series in its totality, as well as several subsequent videos Coffee released over the last year. He is seeking in excess of $75,000 in damages, and is demanding a trial by jury. So we'll see where this situation goes. Personally, I think it's such a stupid move for Logan whether he wins his petty cash or not. And winning this is also not going to change anyone's mind who already decide how they feel about you. These celebrities and influencers think they can just magically keep shaking the public perception, and it's no longer working. Personally, I do want to shout out Coffeezilla and wish this man peace in what could become a ruthless fight against what I would think would be some very high-end lawyers. Seriously though guys, I do want to thank y'all for watching today's video, dropping a like and subscribing. You know I'll keep you updated on the situation, so y'all make sure you look out for that. But as you guys know, it's been your boy the Tan Superman and some other online drama out here needs to be covered, so I'm out. Peace!
This isn't like my life's work.